So we got through day 29 of accepting every order on DoorDash. This is per offer, not by time. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Started at 10:55 a.m. Seeing any orders for a bit. It started out at 7 to 17 minutes. Then it switched to 12 to 22 minutes. And then we finally got our first order at 11:37. We did get this crazy 23-mile order, $19.75. We got the Jack in the Box and then the retail pickup at Safeway. Going down to Winlock, me to pick up the Jack in the Box, then pick up Safeway, and then deliver the Jack in the Box, and then deliver the Safeway. So I was like, nah, let's go ahead and jump tasks. So I had to go ahead and pick up Jack in the Box, deliver right over to the customer because it was right by Safeway, like no joke, no distance at all. So I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and get this food delivered to the customer as quickly as we can. Then we got over to Safeway and we picked up the other order. What's nice, that is one thing that's nice about DoorDash is you can jump tasks. You can't do that on Uber Eats, you can't do that on Spark, and you can't do that on Instacart. You have to follow their pattern. The only way to not follow the pattern, sorry, the car beeped at me. Anyways, the only way not to follow the pattern is to call support. I've done that on Instacart before, as one order did. I went right by where they wanted the last order was supposed to be dropped off, and then I was supposed to go up away from that customer. Like I drove right past them. It was really weird, and then go like 10 miles away and then come 10 miles back to deliver that order. So I called Instacart and I'm like, I'd like to drop off this order first and then go deliver to the other customer so I don't have to come back, and then, it's a little bit less mileage and I still got paid the same. It did take a bit through calling support and getting the process done, but it is possible. Anyways, got that order done. Did take a while. Let's see here. We got the order at 11:37 and we dropped it off by 12:26. So about an hour, or a little bit less. It was $19.75, $7.75 base pay, $9 customer tip on Safeway, $3 Jack in the Box customer tip. Base pay was super low on that one, only $7.75 to go that 23 miles, but that is, how it works. I'm pretty sure it's mainly based on what you've got tipped before, as they're trying to, match up the base pay with the tips, as most of the time it does seem like it's a back and forth pattern of base pay increasing, and then you get an order where tips increase, and then base pay, and then etc. Anyways, so I got I got down to Winlock, so I was like, there's a secondhand store here, let's go ahead and check it out. Bag full of movies, only 50 cents a movie, so I was like, why not? Just DVDs or whatnot. But there was some decent movies in there, so it was something to get. I got like 21 DVDs, so I spent it was 11 exactly, which was pretty interesting. Anyways, get this another order, 13 miles, 9 items at Dollar General, kind of going out in the middle of nowhere for $21. It was about a 20-mile order because of the distance there and back. There was a little bit of a distance to the store though. But yeah, we made $21 on that. It took us about 37 minutes to complete that. $15 base pay, $7 customer tip. And also the distance back to the zone, another 15 minutes or so. So about an hour total on that. Got another order at Dollar General. This one I was not happy to do, but it could have been worse. $3.75, 13.1 miles. Kind of would have been okay with that if I didn't have to shop all those items, but 1 items at Dollar General, and it did take us a bit. Let's see here. Gosh dang, all these notifications. 1:48 a.m. and we got it dropped off at 2:50. So it took an hour to complete that order. It was a pain in the butt too. Lots of items out of stock and no service really working in the store. A lot of the times I had to go outside. Actually, this one was even worse now that I think about it. Not only did I have to go outside to scan items, it wasn't, well, get the door open to scan items. That didn't even work. I would have had to go outside every time to get it to go through. So I went and grabbed my other phone, which I'm holding in my hand, and I turned on the hotspot, and that seemed to work. It still took a little bit to scan items, but it made it slightly better. Anyways, we did see an order at McDonald's on Uber Eats. Really wasn't too bad of an order. 6.2 miles for $11.44. Go up a little bit, but I didn't get the screenshot on the increase. But it was, I think it increased to like $13 or something, but I was, busy doing the DoorDash, so I didn't take it. I was hoping it would go up a decent amount. And then maybe eventually take it if I had the time. I don't think I would have, though. The Dollar General order just took too long. What it turned out to look like, for the most part. Anyways, I did, I'm always super nice to the customers, no matter what. Even if it's an order that I really wish they would have tipped more on, or I would have just got more pay on, base pay or whatnot, because it's not always on the customer. Sometimes it's just, the customer can tip pretty dang good, but then the base pay is like $3. It happens sometimes. Anyways, so I did go through the process of messaging the customer, and I did make sure to say thank you for the order. I'm sorry for all the service issues. That store is usually pretty bad for service, but this time was worse. Luckily I had my extra phone, yada yada yada, and I said hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll be there shortly or whatnot. And they said, thank you so much for all your hard work. You have an amazing rest of your day also. And I said, welcome. I appreciate the kind words, and I will try to thank you. I will try to thank you again. What? Text to speech. I didn't even realize I said that. Anyways, I will try to, and then there should have been a comma there. That's what the issue was. Anyways, let's keep going on. So we got the order done, and it was, whoops, what the heck is going on here? We had $19 base pay, $5 customer tip for $24. Customer tip was not very good on that. The base pay was actually pretty decent on that. Anyway, so we didn't get an order for a bit, for a while, into 17-minute estimated wait time, but we did get another order. Not the greatest in the world, but could be worse, obviously. 0.1 miles, $16.75, 7 items at Safeway, and then we also had to shop a 1 item haul item on top of that. And it wasn't that bad, but what makes it worse is when I get an order like this. And I really kind of wanted to drop both of those orders for this one. $38 for 31 items, 50 total units, 7.1 miles. That would have taken me about I would say 45 minutes to shop it and drop it off, and then 15 minutes back, maybe even less, to the zone. So I would have made about $50 an hour, and I might have got extra tips, as it does happen a decent amount on Instacart. But I didn't want to drop the 2 orders on DoorDash, 1, because of the series, and 2, it would have got my completion down to 98, which I did have room. I could have totally done that. But so it would have technically made me $32 extra from what I was making, but still not in the same amount of time, because I did get another order before then. So I would say it would have made me maybe, well, depending on what my next order was, 13 on top of the 16, so 29 I made between it would have made me about $19 extra. Anyway, so we got pay of $9.25 on that, $3.50 customer tip on the one, and $4 customer tip on the other one. Anyways, we did get the next order that I was talking about, $18.50 for 7.8 miles, 8 items at Safeway. Not terrible, especially because there was some distance to the store. About $1 or $2 a mile, close to it, if you just count the distance from the store. We did see this order, though. I wouldn't have taken it unless it was dead, though, because I was down in Chehalis. It would have been Centralia, so it would have been an extra 7 miles, making it 12 miles total. It was $38.51 for 39 items for 3 orders, though. But if I was at Centralia and, I didn't have an order, I would have taken it, as it would have been worth it if I was in Centralia, because it still would have only taken me about an hour to do that order for about $40. So would have been a pretty decent order if I was there and I wasn't already busy. Anyways, we did get some food. Got the jalapeno poppers, this pie from Dollar General that was just way too sugary. It was just nasty as hell. And then we got nutty bar size. It was decent enough. And yeah, I do have my DoorDash bags there, and my jacket was on the seat. Anyways, I'm a dork. Let's go into the next one. Oh yeah, $13.50 on that, $8.50 base pay, and $5 customer tips on that. Anyways, we did get the next order, which I was thinking was going to come in since we were only at $95 for about 6 hours. If you consider $20 an hour, that's 20, 40, 60, 80, 120 is what we should have been at. So the next order pretty much balanced it out because, the $20 an hour, it does seem like that's the bottom pay of what I make when I accept everything. And usually, as long as I go 8 hours, it does balance out eventually to where I make it. I've made $20 an hour, and this is one of those orders that it does seem like they do that. Supposedly, I got it because Pro Shopper. I don't believe that. I think Pro Shopper is a bunch of crap, which at least in my opinion, as no matter if I'm Pro Shopper or not, I don't know. It does seem like I get shopping orders either way, but I don't know. Maybe this was a random order, but I'm pretty sure it's just because it's trying to balance out pay. But it was a decent order either way. $37 for this one, 7.9 miles, 3 orders and 31 items. Maybe it was because I'm a Pro Shopper. I don't know. But either way, it's still only balancing me out to about $20 an hour. Less, actually, because it's $132 for 7 hours. Anyways, there was $15.50 base pay on that, $15 customer tip, $3.50 Safeway on the one, and $3 on the other one. Yeah, it's just balancing it out. It pretty much balanced out my tips to my base pay almost to the dollar after I finished that one. Anyways, let's go on to the next one. We got Pizza Hut, $11.25 for 7.2 miles. That was a decent order. We got $4.25 base pay, $7 customer tip. So we're at $143.25 in 7.5 hours. Then we got this next order that was decent enough. $23.75 for 13.3 miles. But it was only 6 items, 2 different Safeway orders. So I consider that one decent enough. So we made $167 in 9 hours. Got $13.50 base pay on that, $6.75 customer tips, and $3.50 customer tips on the other one, making it $167 in 9 hours. If you go 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80. So we're still about $13 shy of being at $20 an hour. Anyways, we did get the next order, which, look at that, $14, which I was saying we were $13 shy, but then again, we were at 9 hours already. But still, that puts us almost exactly what I was saying at about $20 an hour. 5.4 miles, 21 items. This one just sucked. This was probably the worst order of the day. Yeah. And they're saying that this is a high paying offer. I guess it's $3 a mile, but holy crap. And it was only technically 21 items, but it was just a pain in the butt to get this one done. I got it done though. And I couldn't believe it though. We got it done. It's $10.50 customer pay, and the customer tip $4.50. I was surprised because they tipped, and this is an area that I wouldn't even blame them if they didn't tip because of where it went to. But yeah, I was like, yeah, they tipped. That's awesome. Anyways, so yeah, we were at $18 an hour there. And we got this next order that was $0.05 for 1.3 miles at Taco Bell. Got that one done. It was base pay, $2.05 customer tips. And then we got this next one, which should end, this ends the night. 15.4 miles, $14.50 for 2 orders and 3 items. It wasn't bad, and well, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as the last one in my opinion, even though the miles were higher, because there's only 3 items on it, and the items were like, there's barely anything on them. So I got it done pretty quickly, and I wanted to go north anyways, so even though it's a long distance, if I'm going to go that way to go home, it's pretty much free mileage in my opinion. $10 base pay, $3 customer tip on the one, and $2 customer tip on the other one. Blamed them at all for not tipping on that one. But I was actually happy to see that they did tip, because seriously, there was just, the items were probably, well, they cost a little bit more than the tips, but still, yeah, it was fine. Anyways, so we got, oh yeah, for total mileage, I thought I would go ahead and do that. And this is only total mileage from the orders. It was $111 miles and or 0.50. So 111 and a half miles. But that does not include the distance back to the stores and, in between times and etc. I would estimate the drive to, the zone and the drive home and, the back and forth between orders, because there was a lot of double mileage orders. I hit at least 200 miles yesterday, or right around there. Anyways, so acceptance is at 99%. That's because of that glitch. I did not decline any orders this whole time. But yeah, I talked about a glitch. You can watch it in the other video. I think it was in 2 videos I talked about it. Anyways, completion rate is 100%. On time or early, 93%. Customer ratings, 5 stars. 359 deliveries in the last 30 days. Lifetime deliveries, 13,995. It's 5 away from 14,000. And we do stars with 0 ratings excluded. And I lost my pro shopper. See, it's just like, if I could get those customers to request a refund, I would still be at pro shopper. But these customers, I wish I knew, like, I should probably figure it out myself. I'm probably going to order DoorDash just to figure out how to request a refund. Because seriously, I've tried to get these customers to request refunds so it doesn't affect my original items found, because I can only go below 92% of original items found before I'm no longer a pro shopper. And these customers are requesting refunds, but they're only doing it through chat, so it counts against me. It's just annoying. And I ask them if they can request a refund so it doesn't count against me, and they can't even do that. They're like, I don't know how to do that. And I don't know how to do it either, actually, so I can't really blame them. But then at the same time, I don't really order DoorDash that much. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and order DoorDash. Stupid car turning off the lights on me. Anyways, it's kind of a good feature, though, if I keep, leave them on and then my car doesn't turn back off. Jeez. Anyways, so, yeah, we're up to 20,838 miles, and man, I need to clean my dash. Yeah, 47 miles in my tank. I really need to, anyways, we got, I would count that we made, jeez. It was technically 11 hours that we worked yesterday. But I'm not counting 11 hours, 10 hours and 54 minutes, total time online. I'm not counting that because I stayed in Winlock for a while at the secondhand store, and I figured they weren't going to send me an order out there, and they didn't. They kind of did after I drove a little bit, though. Still pretty close to Winlock when I get the next order to the Dollar General down there. But still, I did dink around there for probably 15 minutes, which I shouldn't have, but always good to have extra stuff, extra movies. And then I also went to the game store and I picked up a couple games for the original PlayStation. I got a couple loose games, spent $7 on games. So yeah, that was an extra 15 minutes or so, probably at least a half an hour. And then, the decent drive down there. So I'm going to count it as 10 hours to make it slightly better, but still $20 and, $20, pretty much exactly an hour what we made yesterday. Should have been better, but at least it was technically minimum wage after expenses, like right at minimum wage. Geez, sorry guys. It's going to be it for this video. We're going to go and get into day 30. We're going to be on day 30 of accepting everything on DoorDash. The mileage is getting pretty freaking high, though. Holy crap. Like I said, we are up to, almost 21,000 miles in the car. So we've pretty much done 5,000 miles just in DoorDash and in driving to the stores and the gig work in less than 30 days. Yeah, because at 30 days, we're going to be right at 5,000 miles we've driven on my new car. Not so new anymore. I only bought it like, 4 months ago? And yeah, we're up over 20,000 miles on it already. Anyways, please thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe. Lots more videos to come. Lots of delivery stuff. And I'll post whatever I want on here too. Bye for now, guys.